Welcome back to MTP Daily. We're going to have a lot more from the campaign trail and Donald Trump's stumping on Bernie Sanders' home turf coming up. But right now, let's turn to an exclusive report from the Daily Beast that could end up being an even more serious blow to Rahm Emanuel's tenure as Chicago mayor. The Daily Beast reports that after a meeting with the mayor, lawyers for the city of Chicago demanded that the dash cam video showing the shooting death of a 17-year-old Laquan McDonald be kept confidential as part of the city's $5 million settlement with the McDonald family. Emanuel has faced calls to resign since the video of McDonald being shot 16 times by a Chicago police officer was released in November. Jason Van Dyke, the officer involved in the shooting, has pleaded not guilty to first-degree murder charges. He did that last month. Now, in a December op-ed in the Chicago Tribune, Mayor Emanuel wrote this: "Some have alleged that our settlement with Laquan's family was part of a cover-up, but nothing could be further from the truth." The Daily Beast reviewed emails between the Chicago Police Department, City Hall, and McDonald's family attorney. They report that while the emails show that Emanuel stating that he has never seen the dash cam video may be true, they also found that, quote, "emails from the mayor's office prove the mayor knew exactly what the footage showed when city lawmakers negotiated a deal that would at least delay the video's release." Now, NBC Chicago station WMAQ did ask Mayor Emanuel for his response to the Daily Beast report today. Here's what the mayor said on camera.
As I said to you before, and let me repeat, one, we have policy in the city that exists for decades. That is material that's important for an investigation, stays with that investigation, and once the investigation's wrapped up, it will be made public. That's exactly what happened. Two, one of the things that I've asked the task force to look at is to update a policy that is while it existed for 40 years, it's just a policy, to make sure that today we're more relevant to how things are operating in a cell phone, mobile phone technology.
The Daily Beast also alleges that the mayor's office was, quote, "pulling strings at the Independent Police Review Authority." But a spokesman for the city's law department told the Daily Beast that any coordination between the agencies on press statements was separate from any investigative work. Now, McDonald family attorney, he gave us this statement saying the following, quote, "We take strong exception to the characterization of the McDonald settlement as hush money. The settlement is compensation to the estate for the wrongful death of a 17-year-old. The lawyers for the city of Chicago responded with this statement to us, quote, "The facts of this incident were openly discussed in front of the public, press, and aldermen at a city council committee meeting in April. And the administration said publicly then and since that time that the city always intended to release the video as soon as the investigation was complete. Despite the concerns in the email exchange, the plaintiff's attorneys publicly said on numerous occasions that the family did not want the video released to the public." We reached out to Chicago's Independent Police Review Authority, and we've not yet received a response. Joining me now is the Daily Beast reporter who wrote this explosive story, Justin Glaw. Mr. Glaw, welcome to MTP Daily.
Thanks for having me.
Let me start with asking you this question, because much of your reporting is based on the emails that were all dumped on New Year's Eve. You came to a conclusion that many others did not on a timeline here. Why do you believe your timeline is basically more accurate?
Well, in December, early December, Rahm Emanuel did an interview on Chicago Tonight, and he said that Chicago Corporation Counsel Steve Patton briefed him not only on the contents of the McDonald video, but on the negotiations that were ongoing for the settlement. So he says that briefing came in late March. Now, we know from the emails that on April 6th, Patton's second-in-command, who is also a city attorney named Thomas Platt, he goes to the McDonald estate and says, look, we would like to make sure that you guys agree to this confidentiality provision, which states that the video will not be released until the conclusion of criminal proceedings. So while Emanuel and others within City Hall have been saying, and they like to go back to this over and over again, they say, you know, we've been saying this entire time that we'll release the video once the criminal investigation is completed, or i.e., once someone decides whether or not to indict the officer. That's not what the settlement says. The settlement says that the video will be withheld until it is concluded, which means the end of a criminal or civil trial.
You called it hush money. Defend it.
Yeah, I mean, so the lawyers for the McDonald estate initially said, you know, we really don't agree with that provision. We've never said anything about this broad sweeping provision that will withhold the video until criminal proceedings are concluded. And so then Thomas Platt says, he goes to them and he says, "I'll call you," and that's April 6th. Rahm Emanuel gets reelected on April 7th. By April 8th, we have a new draft of the settlement agreement that includes that provision that says, we agree that we will not release the video until criminal proceedings are concluded. So sometime between April 6th, when the McDonald estate said we don't agree to that provision, and April 8th, when they signed off on the agreement, some kind of decision was made on their part in terms of the negotiation with the city that they did agree with that provision.
How much do you think you've seen statements that say the McDonald family they didn't want to see this video released. Do you believe that?
I absolutely do believe that, and that's a personal decision on their part, and I'm not going to judge them for that. But what I will say is that this whole line and this mantra about we'll release the video once the investigation is complete, and we would have never seen the video, because the settlement said that the video won't be released until the conclusion of criminal proceedings, which can take years as this is tied up in court. If it weren't for the lawsuit brought by independent journalist Brandon Smith, this would have never come out. We would be sitting here now still debating about what was on the video.
Right.
And so, I think it's important to note that this line that the Emanuel administration has been putting out there for the better part of a year now about it's our position, it's longstanding policy in the city of Chicago that we hold on to evidence while this is being investigated by the Cook County State's Attorney's Office and the Independent Police Review Authority. While it's a nice line, that's not what the letter of the law in the settlement states.
All right, Justin Glau, the reporter for the Daily Beast. It's an explosive story, an explosive charge, and Mayor Emanuel was already in trouble. If this timeline is proven to be correct, I would say he's in even bigger trouble. Justin Glau, thanks for coming on.
Thanks.
You got it. We'll have a lot more of MTP Daily coming.
I'm the leading state sponsor of terrorism.